Minnesota is known for its lakes and friendly people, a place where neighbors wave from their porches and families gather at local parks. It's a state that prides itself on its welcoming spirit and strong sense of community, where diversity is celebrated and newcomers are often embraced. But today, that reputation is being tested. Minnesota has become the unexpected stage for a tense national debate, one that's drawing attention from coast to coast. The air is thick with uncertainty, and the usual calm has given way to protests, news cameras, and heated conversations in homes and on social media. At the center of this storm is Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, known across the country as a Somali-American trailblazer and a passionate, sometimes controversial critic of government policy. Omar is no stranger to the spotlight, but this time, the focus isn't on her legislative battles or her outspoken views. Instead, it's on a deeply personal incident involving her teenage son, a moment that has thrust her family into the heart of a national controversy. On what should have been a regular Saturday afternoon, outside a busy Target store, Omar's son found himself unexpectedly stopped. Not by local police, but by federal ICE agents. The parking lot, usually filled with shoppers and families, suddenly became the scene of a high-stakes encounter. The presence of unmarked vehicles and federal agents sent shockwaves through the community, raising immediate questions and concerns. News of the stop spread rapidly, making headlines across the country. Accusations of racial profiling and government overreach erupted almost instantly, with activists, community leaders, and everyday citizens demanding answers. Was this a routine check or something more troubling? The story quickly became a symbol of larger issues facing America today. The question on everyone's mind: was this simply law enforcement doing its job, or was a young man singled out because of his appearance, his background, or his family's high profile? For many, the incident felt all too familiar, a reminder of the fears and anxieties that can come with being part of a minority community in America. In the days that followed, the story only grew. We'll break down exactly what happened that afternoon, how Congresswoman Omar responded, and why this single traffic stop has become a flashpoint in America's ongoing debate over immigration, justice, and the role of law enforcement. The nation is watching, and the stakes feel higher than ever. Because at its core, this is about more than just one traffic stop. It's about trust between communities and those sworn to protect them, about identity and belonging, and about what it truly means to feel safe and accepted in your own country. The answers we find here could shape the conversation for years to come. Imagine being a US-born citizen, pulled over by ICE in your hometown. That's what happened to Ilhan Omar's son, who was stopped in a Target parking lot during a federal sweep. Omar claims ICE wasn't after a specific suspect, but conducting a broad operation. Her son was questioned, the agent's authority unmistakable. She took to social media, calling it racial profiling, arguing agents were targeting young men who looked Somali, her son's only suspicious trait, his appearance and heritage. The stop ended when he showed his US passport, but for Omar, the damage was done. She turned her son's experience into a symbol of systemic injustice, arguing that countless others face similar scrutiny without her platform. For critics, this was a textbook case of civil rights being violated in the name of enforcement. Here's a detail that says it all. Omar's son always carries his US passport, even for something as routine as a quick Target run. It's not about travel or adventure, but about a sense of security that most people never have to think about. For him, the passport isn't just a document, it's a lifeline, a silent reassurance tucked away in his backpack, just in case he's ever asked to prove he belongs. Most Americans leave their passports at home, stashed in a drawer or on a shelf, only to be dusted off for vacations or business trips. But for Omar's family, the passport is as essential as a wallet or phone. It's a shield against being mistaken for an undocumented immigrant, a way to avoid suspicion or questioning that could escalate quickly. This isn't just paranoia, it's a daily reality for many people of color in America. The fear of being stopped, questioned, or even detained is ever present. They feel they must be ready to prove their citizenship at any moment, in any place, even in their own neighborhoods. The anxiety is constant, a quiet tension that shapes everyday decisions. The emotional toll is real. What's a minor inconvenience for some, showing ID, answering a few questions, can be a high-stakes encounter for others. The fear of misunderstanding or escalation lingers, turning simple errands into sources of stress and worry. Carrying a passport becomes a defense mechanism, not a travel document. It's a way to feel a little safer, to have proof of belonging always within reach. For some, it's the only thing standing between them and a situation spiraling out of control. This transforms what many see as a political debate into a deeply personal story. It's about fear, identity, and the longing to feel at home in your own country. The passport, meant to open doors to the world, becomes a symbol of the barriers people face right here at home. For critics of current policies, this reality is proof that enforcement tactics are making citizens feel like outsiders in their own country. It's a sign that something fundamental is broken when people must carry proof of citizenship to feel safe. The passport, once a symbol of freedom and opportunity, now doubles as a tool for survival at home. For many, it's a daily reminder of the complicated relationship between identity, security, and belonging in America. Why were ICE agents there in the first place? The stop was part of Operation Metro Surge, a major federal crackdown in Minneapolis-St. Paul, targeting undocumented immigrants with criminal records. ICE claimed the operation was focused on public safety, not random stops. They announced over 400 arrests, emphasizing that those detained included people with serious criminal histories. The agency's message: this is about removing dangerous individuals, not harassing families. From ICE's perspective, agents were performing a vital service, and encounters with citizens were unfortunate but inevitable. The operation's scale and urgency, they argued, justified their aggressive tactics. This sets up the central conflict: public safety versus accusations of profiling and overreach. ICE insists Operation Metro Surge was intelligence-driven, targeting specific individuals with criminal records. Their public statements highlight arrests of alleged rapists and violent offenders, painting the agency as a bulwark against chaos. ICE rejects claims of ethnic profiling, arguing their focus is on threats to public safety. They note that U.S. citizens are only arrested if they interfere with operations, not because of their appearance. Supporters see ICE as protectors, not oppressors, and view high arrest numbers as a sign of effective enforcement. Critics, however, argue that these tactics inevitably sweep up innocent people and sow fear in entire communities. The debate isn't just about methods. It's about whether immigration enforcement protects or divides. Is ICE a tool for safety or a source of mistrust? Minnesota's Governor Tim Walz quickly condemned the stop, calling it racial profiling and demanding a federal reassessment. Even before the incident, Walz had warned that Operation Metro Surge was damaging community trust. He wrote to the Secretary of Homeland Security, arguing that aggressive tactics were harming relationships between law enforcement and the public. Walz cited wrongful arrests of U.S. citizens, saying fear and mistrust make everyone less safe. He urged a more targeted approach, one that protects rights while focusing on real threats. His intervention turned a local controversy into a state versus federal showdown. The governor's stance gave weight to claims of profiling and pushed the debate onto the national stage. President Trump, meanwhile, doubled down on support for ICE and Operation Metro Surge. He praised the crackdown as essential for law and order, and used the moment to attack Ilhan Omar, framing her as an opponent of public safety. Trump's rhetoric, calling some Somali migrants garbage and telling them to go back, fueled a charged atmosphere. Critics say this language emboldened aggressive enforcement and deepened divisions. For Trump and his supporters, ICE agents are heroes, and any collateral damage is dismissed or blamed on those stopped. The message, tough action, is the only solution, and opposition is seen as siding with criminals. This black and white view energizes his base and leaves little room for compromise. At its core, this controversy is about two competing visions for America, visions that shape not only our laws, but the very fabric of our communities. The debate over profiling versus public safety is deeply emotional, touching on questions of justice, equality, and the role of government in our daily lives. On one side, leaders like Ilhan Omar and Tim Walz, along with many activists, warn that aggressive law enforcement tactics can easily cross the line into racial profiling. They argue that when police target entire communities based on appearance or background, it erodes the civil liberties that are supposed to protect everyone, not just a select few. These critics say that operations like Metro Surge don't just catch criminals, they also create a climate of fear and suspicion. Ordinary citizens, especially those from minority backgrounds, may feel like outsiders in their own neighborhoods, constantly watched and judged. This, they argue, undermines the trust that is essential for effective policing and a healthy society. On the other hand, supporters of robust enforcement see these operations as absolutely necessary for public safety. They point to hundreds of arrests and the removal of dangerous individuals from the streets as clear evidence that these tactics work. For them, the priority is protecting law-abiding citizens from harm. Supporters argue that if you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear. They believe that strong, visible action by law enforcement reassures communities, deters crime, and helps families feel safe. In their view, the risks of not acting are far greater than the potential downsides, but critics push back, insisting that these sweeps inevitably sweep up innocent people, damaging lives and deepening divides. They point to stories of families separated, jobs lost, and communities left feeling targeted rather than protected. For them, the cost to community relations and individual rights is simply too high. Ultimately, this debate is about more than just law enforcement tactics. It's about the kind of country America wants to be. A nation that values both safety and freedom, that protects its people without sacrificing its principles. The conversation forces us to ask difficult questions about our identity and our future. Is increased security worth the potential cost to civil rights, personal dignity, and the trust that binds communities together? Or is it a necessary trade-off in a world where threats are real and public safety is paramount? As America continues to grapple with these questions, the answers will shape not just our laws, but the everyday experiences of millions of people, defining what it truly means to be safe and what it means to be free. The incident in Minnesota is more than a headline. It's a snapshot of America's identity crisis. It forces us to ask, can we balance security with civil rights, or does one always come at the expense of the other? When communities feel targeted, trust in law enforcement breaks down, making everyone less safe. National rhetoric shapes local realities, and the words of leaders can fuel division or foster unity. The debate over profiling versus enforcement is really about the kind of country we want to build. There are no easy answers, but the stakes are high. Incidents like this test our values and challenge us to find a better balance. How we respond will shape our communities and our nation for years to come. The question remains, what price are we willing to pay for security, and who pays it?